Start again.
Hi there, I'm Roger Frost, and I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Kircher, who is the pharmacy manager at the Vienna Drug Center in Vienna. That's Vienna, Virginia, not Vienna, Austria. So tell me, Jeff, everywhere you turn these days, you see something about CBD.
Absolutely.
What exactly is CBD oil?
CBD oil can be many different things. So with CBD oil, you could have a isolate where it's just a cannabinoid, one cannabinoid, which is cannabidiol is what CBD actually stands for. And then you could have products that are called full spectrum products that have many different cannabinoids in that particular product.
Now, for ALS type people who've got neurological problems, do you recommend the full spectrum or the tincture?
Absolutely, that they're both tinctures, but the full spectrum is definitely what I would go with over the isolate. The reason why is what's called the entourage effect, which basically means, say for example, you're looking at an apple. In an apple, you have pectin, which can be very helpful for for diabetes, for stomach, for all sorts of different things. But pectin is also found in Luden's lozenges. And we don't sit there and say a Luden's lozenge keeps the doctor away. We say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So you're talking about that full apple. So you're the full spectrum, or all the different cannabinoids working together in order to help the patient.
So where does CBD oil come from?
CBD oil comes from the hemp plant. Now there are some products that are marijuana derived, but those also have CBD and THC in it. But the THC from the marijuana plant is about 30%, whereas the THC in a CBD that you would buy over the counter is 0.3% or less for it, so 100 times less.
So that's what makes it legal? It's much less?
Correct. In order for it to be federally legal by the 2018 Farm Bill that was passed into law, it has to be under 0.3% of that THC. So that way it's not psychoactive, it cannot get you high, it's allowed to be possessed, it's allowed to cross state lines, and it's allowed to be sold over the counter.
So the magic number is 0.3
or less of THC.
And that's percentage?
Correct.
Okay. Now, what do you think it could do for ALS patients who have got, well, for instance, myself, I get toward the end of the day wild twitching.
Okay.
Would it help with that?
Possibly. So CBD is not a magic bullet in any way. CBD has many different health benefits that could be helped by it. But there's no 100% guarantee for any product that are out there. But the studies that I've seen, and there are not a lot of studies yet on it because it is still so new, but the studies that I've seen have shown that there's some marked improvement in spasms, as well as pain and sleep, and some other things, migraines it might help with as well. But specifically for ALS, you would see improvements, hopefully, with spasms and quality of sleep.
So when would you recommend an ALS patient take this?
I would start taking it at bedtime. So starting dose is going to be about 10 milligrams. And that would be for anybody, from a teenager through 100 years old.
10 milligrams of what?
Of the CBD. So when you look at a particular product, say you're looking at this one right here that's marked 2000, you have different products that are out there that'll say 300, 2,000, 500, whatever it happens to be. The products are actually the amount of cannabinoids that are in the entire bottle.
Oh, that's not just the volume of the bottle itself.
Correct. So this 2,000 is 2,000 per 50 mLs, whereas this is 300 per 30 mL. So this is a 10 milligram per ml. This is a 40 milligram per ml. So if you're starting at that 10 milligram dose, you would take 1 ml of this one, but only a quarter of an ml of this one. So you have to be careful with that.
And what's the difference in price between them?
It could vary drastically, depending on the manufacturer that you have out there, the quality of the product, where the product comes from. These particular products that I have in my hand, this is $50, this is $230.
Wow. Now you say quality. How does the average Joe on the street judge quality on this?
Quality is judged specifically through what's called a certificate of analysis. That certificate of analysis should be done by a third party, which means that the company that's making this product shouldn't be doing their own certificate. There could be some bias that's in there with that. The certificate of analysis should also tell you all the different cannabinoids that are in the particular product, whether it's that one isolate that we were talking about where it's just CBD, or if it's that full spectrum. You want to see all the different ones, including the amount of THC that's in there, so that you know that it is legal for that. Another thing you want to know in those certificates of analysis is what's not in that product. This is a plant that we're talking about. So how many times have we heard on the news that E. coli or salmonella has been in lettuce or something? I want to know if those are coming in these plants here. So that certificate of analysis should show me different chemical makeups, any pesticides, residual solvents, as well as that E. coli, salmonella, those kind of things, so that I know it's a pure product and it's going to be safe for me to take. The reason why that's so important is it's not FDA regulated at all. So anybody can make it, and they could say that this 2,000 bottle has 2,000 in it, but 70 to 90% of the products that are out there actually do not contain what the actual package says. And that's been backed up by the FDA as well as the Journal of American Medical Association.
So you advise against buying this online?
Not necessarily. I would buy it at a place that you can feel comfortable buying a product at. I wouldn't recommend going to your gas station for it. I wouldn't recommend going to a vape shop or your lingerie store for it, but everybody's selling it. I would go to a pharmacy. I'm biased when it comes to that, but we are the drug experts. There are different drugs that can interact with this particular medication, and you want to be careful that when you're taking this, that it's not going to harm you.
Jeff, thanks very much. We are going to take a break here and we'll come back in a moment.